These are my 5 top tips to help your cat to lose weight. Obesity is an epidemic amongst our pets, and it can be really difficult to get your cat to lose weight. It is important to prevent your cat from becoming overweight because many overweight cats develop diabetes. This is an expensive and stressful condition for you to manage, and it is almost entirely preventable. I have a tip that will help you to not have to calorie count with your cat, and then later I will tell you about how technology can help you if you have more than one cat in your household and one of them is eating all the food. Tip number 1 involves switching your cat to wet food. Most wet foods are 80 to 85% water, so they have far less calories compared to dry food. Dry food is really calorie dense, so even a small amount contains a lot of calories. We often inadvertently overfeed our cats on dry food because we do not realize just how many calories they are consuming. By increasing wet food, your cat is getting a much less calorie dense food and will be able to eat more food without consuming a lot of calories. So you will be able to avoid the persistent 3 a.m. calls for food because your cat can still eat plenty of food. You can still feed dry food if you want to, but be aware that it is very calorie dense, so you should only feed a small amount if you want your cat to lose weight. And the amount of food that you can feed your cat will depend on their weight and on the food you are feeding. Please consult the packaging or speak to your vet about how much you should feed if you are not sure. Some cats will not eat wet food, and this can make weight loss much more challenging. Cats who eat only dry food tend to be the ones less well able to maintain a good body weight, but you can still get your dry food eating cat to lose weight by using a puzzle feeder or a treat bowl. The success of the strategy will depend on how food motivated your cat is. A puzzle feeder is like an activity board that is also a food bowl for dry food. When you use this to feed your cat, they cannot simply eat the food as normal. First, they have to work out how to get the food out of the puzzle so that they can eat it. Treat bowls are toys that you put dry food into. The bowl has some small holes to allow the food to fall out. Your cat can only access the food by batting the ball around, which will cause the food to drop out. Both of these strategies use calories and slow down your cat's eating. Now, of course, some cats would rather starve than work to get their food, so you have to pick your audience with this one, but for some cats it works really well. Tip number 3 also involves dry food. You can make your cat forage for their dry food, and you can do this whether you feed your cat some dry food or all dry food. And again, this really only works for food motivated cats. For this, you will need to hide your cat's food all over the house. Your cat will be able to find the food using their sense of smell, and they will utilize calories finding their food, and it will slow down their eating. At the beginning, you will need to make this easy for your cat so that they understand the game, but you can make it increasingly difficult as your cat gets used to foraging for their own food. This is also great mental stimulation for your cat, and it can be really fun for you too. Tip number 4 involves a problem I see every day, and that is about who feeds the cat in your household. Cats are very clever, and they will ask each family member in turn to feed them. They will also act like they have not been fed in days. If you have a cat that you're trying to diet, one very simple thing that you can do is to have a rule about who feeds the cat. There are so many cats who receive extra meals every day simply because we do not communicate with each other about whether the cat has been fed or not. Implementing a rule so that only one family member feeds the cat makes it much clearer and prevents your cat from receiving multiple dinners. If that is not feasible in your household, as an alternative, you could implement a stop-go system where you have a piece of card that is red on one side and green on the other. As soon as the cat is fed, the card gets turned from green to red so that everyone knows that the cat has been fed. You can get creative in your household and come up with a system that works for you. Tip number 5 involves using technology to help you and your cat. This is relevant in households that have more than one cat. In my experience, many households have one cat that likes to eat all their food as soon as it is put down, and one or more cats that like to graze on their food. This is a problem for all of the cats because one cat will eat too much food and become overweight, and the other cats will not be able to graze simply because the food is not there to graze on. You can avoid this problem by investing in a microchip feeder. Microchip feeders can be programmed to only open to certain cats and will open when activated by your cat's microchip. This means that food is locked away from any cat that you choose. When you have one cat on a diet, the microchip feeder is for the cat who likes to graze on their food or for any cat not on a diet. This will give you a lot more control over what your cats eat without you having to take food up and down. If your cat does not have a microchip, it is not a problem. It is easy to implant by your vet or vet nurse, and your cat will not need sedation. Some households invest in a microchip feeder for each of their cats. This way they know exactly what each cat is eating. If you have the budget to do this, it can be great information to have, but it is not necessary. Even having one microchip feeder in your household will help a lot. Those are my 5 top tips for weight loss in cats. In summary, wet food can really help your cat to lose weight. For those cats who will not eat wet food, trying puzzle feeders, treat bowls, or foraging for food can also really help. Communication within your household and planning who feeds the cat and sticking to it can make a huge difference. And finally, using microchip feeders to make sure that your cat is not overeating in a multi-cat household can also help. I have more resources on my website, allcats.co.uk, and if you have topics that you would like to see a video on, please let me know and I will be happy to make them for you. See you in the next video.